Episode 36 of Wasteland Weaponistics. Let's start off the year by getting fisted. Power fisted, that is. Time to cover the power fisting family of weapons that have gone by many names but are most commonly known as the Power Fist. A version of the Power Fist has been in every Fallout game since the start with Fallout 1. While they may not have always been the same, they all share the same basic idea, a mechanical punching apparatus. This video is going to be set up a bit differently compared to other episodes I've done. This video will cover every weapon that I believe falls into the powered punching fist weapon category. Now there have been many fist-style melee weapons throughout the Fallout series, but I'm only going to cover weapons that I believe fall into the powered category. So no Deathclaw gauntlets, no boxing gloves, no knuckles, or blade gauntlets. The first Power Fist was introduced in Fallout 1, and it is known as the Big Frigger. The description in Fallout 1 reads, "A Big Frigger Power Fist from Beat Co. Considered by many to be the ultimate weapon to use in unarmed combat. Others are just scared. Powered by small energy cells." This description is the same across Fallout 1, 2, and Fallout Tactics. The Power Fist is actually a very late addition to the original Fallout game, and was added to give unarmed builds a better weapon than just brass knuckles. The design of the Big Frigger is very different from later iterations of the weapon. It's modeled after a human hand instead of being a Fnatic hammer. This Power Fist seems to be a fingerless glove, with each finger having some kind of metal brace at the end. How it works and where exactly you insert the energy cell, I have no idea. Perhaps the energy cell is in the palm, and that's how it's activated, by enclosing your fist? Because I imagine having this thing on all the time would be very dangerous, but then again, this is the Fallout universe. In Fallout 1, there are several ways to acquire a Power Fist. One is actually given to the player by Mathia, who is Elder Maxon's personal assistant. Super mutants can also be found using this Power Fist, so the design is able to fit multiple hand sizes if it's able to be used by super mutants, which have abnormally large hands. One can also be bought from Zach in the Boneyard. Moving to Fallout 2, here the super mutants make the most use of this blunt force melee weapon. You can actually win one in an arm wrestling match with a super mutant known as Francis, but only if you're able to beat him. Other factions to use them include the She and the Khans. In Fallout 2, there is also the Mega Power Fist, a semi-unique variant that is more powerful than the base model. The model doesn't have anything different about it, it's just more powerful. Now we head to the Midwest wasteland of Fallout Tactics. The description of the Big Frigger is the same, however the model is a lot different in Fallout Tactics. The Fallout Tactics model is a lot more sci-fi than the Fallout 1 and 2 version. This version has large spikes on the knuckle portion as well as on the metacarporial joints, as well as on the thumb for some reason. Honestly, the spike on the thumb looks near useless because it's so far back. Also, this weapon doesn't look like it can be open and closed. It seems to be permanently stuck in fist. I also think it's powered by Mountain Dew because it has these strange green glowing bits all over it. Perhaps the green glowing bits are plasma. They are very similar to the green portions on plasma-based firearms, and there have been plasma-based melee weapons in a couple of the Fallout games. The Tactics Power Fist can be acquired from the Midwest Brotherhood after completing the mission Rock Falls. And that's it for the Big Frigger. We head to the Texas wasteland of Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. For those who don't know, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel is the only Fallout game to be 100% removed from the canon. So, if you want, you can skip this section. Description of the Power Fist from Phobos reads, "Battery-powered bashing comes courtesy of the Power Fist. 10 curled fingers of pain dish out a minor explosive attack that also rattles armored enemies. This Power Fist is the only model in all of Fallout that can be dual-wielded, which seems a bit excessive. I mean, how would you take these things off if you don't have a free hand? A lot to think about with this model, honestly. Now, unlike other models of the Power Fist, this model can actually be charged up to deal more damage. The overall design is different from other Power Fists. The fingers are free to move on this design, or they seem like they could be free to move, as the damaging part seems to be mounted on top of the hand with this large circular disc. The vambrace portion is more built up compared to the original Big Frigger, and it just seems like a lot beefier of a weapon. The Phobos Powerfist is a late-game weapon, only being acquired once you reach the town of Los, which is one of the last levels of the game. It can be bought from one of the merchants. And, much like Fallout 2, we again see a Mega Powerfist version, which is an even later game weapon only acquired on the last level, the Secret Vault. This version is seemingly a Vault-Tech weapon. The Mega Powerfist has a different description than the standard Power Fist. It reads, the next step up in Power Fist tech. The Mega Power Fist have enough juice to knock an enemy clear across the screen, giving you an ample time to either switch to a ranged weapon and finish him off, or running close for a 1-2 finishing blow. A little bit of a fourth wall break with that description. Now, this Mega Power Fist does change a bit compared to its base version. It seems to either have a chain or some type of wiring wrapped around the Gauntlet, giving it an electrical blue glow. And that would be it for Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. With that, we now go back to Fallout Tactics for the Impact Gloves. While not a true Power Fist, they are technically a powered, unarmed melee weapon. The description reads, gloves with a built-in piston to deliver a punch with extra power. So they're powered somehow, and you do punch with them. The model is rather strange, and honestly it looks like a weird 90s kids toy. But it's a very small device mounted on a glove. How it works, I have no idea. Perhaps it's spring-loaded, or maybe it uses like a CO2 canister. The Impact Gloves are primarily used by the Reavers, a technology-worshipping faction of the Midwest Wasteland. Next weapon. Sticking with Fallout Tactics, we have the Punch Gun, which later returned in Fallout New Vegas as the Ballistic Fist. Fallout Tactics version and the Fallout New Vegas version are very different looking, but function in the same way. They are a firearm mounted on your, well, arm, that is activated when you basically punch with it. While it might seem stupid and only something to exist in a video game, this type of weapon is not actually that far-fetched. Let me introduce you to the Sledgely Glove Gun. This was a real weapon used in World War II by the OSS, because they had all types of wacky guns. It's a glove gun that fires a .38 caliber pistol round. There is also the British Sleeve Gun, which is a small single-shot weapon mounted in your sleeve that fires a single round. Also, back in the 1800s and early 1900s, you have palm pistols. These are pistols designed to fit in your palm and be fired from in between your fingers. In Fallout Tactics, this weapon is actually a 12-gauge shotgun, and all I can say is ouch, as that would really kill your wrist. Unless there's some type of recoil dampening system in there, but I don't think there is, judging by the model. The model to me looks like someone took a single-shot break-action shotgun and cut it down, then welded it to like a pair of metal gloves. Only the Raiders and a random hermit make use of this weapon. The New Vegas version is known as the Ballistic Fist. It's a lot more advanced in its modeling, but ultimately works the same way. Just not as crudely as the Fallout Tactics version. It's a double-barrel shotgun in some kind of forearm-mounted compartment with a pressure plate on the fingers. So not directly mounted to your hand like the punch gun. How you would actually reload this weapon, I have no idea. Perhaps it's two muzzle-loading shotguns, so this would be legal to own without a short-barreled shotgun tax stamp. Despite the Ballistic Fist actually shooting, it doesn't use any ammo. It was supposed to use ammo, but according to Josh Sawyer, the engine couldn't handle melee-based weapons that use ammo. The only faction that uses the Ballistic Fist is Caesar's Legion, and it is used specifically by the Praetorians. Other factions, like the Crimson Caravan Company and the Brotherhood of Steel, will sell the weapon, but make no use of it. Now, there is a unique variant of the Ballistic Fist in New Vegas, and that is the two-step goodbye. It has a rather strange ability. If you kill an enemy with a critical, the two-step goodbye will somehow have placed explosives inside the target that will then explode after 2 seconds. Two-Step Goodbye is just bought from the Gunrunners, so there's no lore with this unique weapon. Next, we have the Fnatic Powerfist, first seen in Fallout 3, which returned in Fallout New Vegas and again in Fallout 76 under a different name. This version was designed by Adam Adamowicz. Adam's art of the weapon is beautiful. Honestly, I love his diesel punk art style. May Adam forever rest in peace. This design is a lot less fist-like and more industrial tool in its style. Unlike the first Power Fist featured in Fallout 1, 2, and Tactics, which were basically fists. To me, the design almost looks like it was made to be part of a large suit, because it has these bolts on the back that looks like it would continue upward. We know nothing about this Power Fist. Was it made by the same company that made the Big Frigger, or is it a competitor? There is no lore with the base version of this weapon. The easiest way to get a Power Fist in Fallout 3 is from merchants. Multiple merchants will sell the Power Fist all around the capital Wasteland. You can also find a few of them in Fort Independence. So it seems the Outcast was making some use of these, even though I don't believe there's any Outcast with these equipped on them. Also, did they find them in Fort Independence, signaling pre-war military use, or did they bring them with them to Fort Independence? Honestly, it could be either or. Also, I swear I've been attacked by Talon Company mercenaries using the Power Fist when playing Fallout 3, but the wiki doesn't have the Power Fist in their inventory list. Now, you can find Power Fist in an unmarked Talon Company outpost, and this might be what I'm thinking of, but I swear I've encountered a random Talon Company, and at least one of them has had a Power Fist. The smugglers of Point Lookout can sometimes have a Power Fist on them as well, for some reason. In Fallout 3, there are two unique Power Fists, Fisto and the Shocker. Fisto is just a more powerful version of the Power Fist found in the MDPL-13 power station. It's sitting on the desk next to a computer. What is it doing there? Honestly, I have no idea. Seems really random for a power station to have. Weirdly enough, it shares the same name as the sex robot from Fallout New Vegas, so take from what you will. The other unique Power Fist is the Shocker. It is a lot more interesting than Fisto, as it actually has its own lore holotape. The lore holotape reads, "Dear customer, thank you for participating in the exciting Shocker Glove pilot program. You're receiving a prototype FSG V118B- model of the Shocker Glove. Please reference this prototype number in any future correspondence. We encourage you to make this prototype a part of your daily life and look forward to your valuable feedback. Thanks from all of us at Shocker Glove R&D team. P.S. The Shocker Glove prototypes are not for use in water, public, near small children, or domesticated animals. This is not a kitchen appliance, and nor should it be used near uncooked food. Use of the Shocker Glove prototype constitutes a binding agreement to hold manufacturer harmless for any and all legal purposes. During prolonged use, severe electrical burns may occur. Do not look directly at the Shocker Glove while operating. Some prototype models have proven sensitive to certain radio frequencies during use. If you suspect radio interference, please submit a malfunction report listing FCC broadcast frequencies in operation at the time, and report to the nearest emergency medical facilities in your area." So, the Shocker is a prototype civilian self-defense weapon, it seems, according to this holotype. So, what is it doing inside of the flooded metro? I couldn't tell you. I mean, it specifically says don't use near water or in water. The Shocker, like I said, is a lot more unique than Fisto, and instead of just doing more damage, it actually does less damage to living beings and more damage to robots with a unique shocking effect. Why anyone would need to punch robots in their everyday life is beyond me, but then again, maybe the Fallout universe having so many pre-war robots, you may need self-defense against them? Can you claim self-defense against a robot? Or would that just be property damage? The legal system in robots is going to be very interesting one day. That is it for Fallout 3. Let's head to Fallout New Vegas, as it also has this model of Powerfist. Fallout New Vegas has a lot of variants of Powerfist. Josh Sawyer seemed to really like this weapon. The weapon here is identical to the one in Fallout 3, except with Gunrunner's Arsenal DLC, it now has several modifications. It has chrome tubes increasing the condition by 100%, high capacity valves increasing the damage, and ported chambers increasing the attack speed. Basically, every merchant in the Mojave sells this weapon. I'm not going to list every single one of them. If you see a merchant, expect that they might have a Power Fist. Now, Caesar's Legion makes heavy use of the Power Fist. The Mojave Brotherhood is another faction that also equips their units with Power Fist, as several can be found in the Hidden Valley Bunker. Veronica even has her own unique Power Fist. It's not any different compared to a regular Power Fist, it just bears her name. Power Fists can also be found in both Vault 3 and Vault 11, signaling that Vault-Tec was somewhat interested in these. They are used by the Fiends Raider gang that are located in Vault 3. So, now for all the unique Power Fists of Fallout New Vegas. This is going to be a long one. First one is Grease Lightning, sold by Knight Torres of the Brotherhood of Steel. It has a unique paint scheme and a unique model. Grease Lightning has lower damage than a regular Power Fist, but attacks a whole heck of a lot faster. The name Grease Lightning seems to be a reference to the musical Grease, as there is a song in that musical, Grease Lightning. Next is Salt Upon Wounds, Power Fist. A uniquely painted Power Fist from the Honest Hearts DLC, acquired from Salt Upon Wounds. Power Fist seems to be painted in, well, salt, as it gives additional damage over time when hitting an enemy. Next is the D-25 Saturnite Fist, a Power Fist made out of the mysterious material known as Saturnite. Acquired in the Old World Blues DLC, these are often carried by lobotomites as well as found in several facilities around the whole of Big MT. The toaster can turn your Saturnite Fist into the superheated Saturnite Fist, giving it a unique glowing skin. This makes it much less durable, but increases the damage by a good portion. Finally, we have the Industrial Hand, a semi-unique variant of the Power Fist found in the Divide. It replaces the hard-punching block with a circular saw, making this a rather strange cutting tool when you actually think about it. They can be found in various footlockers in the Divide and Ulysses Temple, so this means possible military adoption. So now we head to the Fallout 76 version. Since there was a Power Fist already in Fallout 76, Bethesda added this classic weapon to the game under a new name. They now call it just the Gauntlet. The base weapon is near exact recreation of the Industrial Hand from New Vegas. You didn't think Bethesda would add in New Vegas stuff to Fallout 76, did you? Fun fact, did you know that several former Obsidian developers work on Fallout 76? The main quest designer, Ferret Bodoin, I think that's how you say his name, worked at both Interplay and Obsidian. He was actually a dev on the original Fallout Van Buren. That's the original Fallout 3 that was cancelled. Now, with Fallout 76's modular weapon system, you can turn the Gauntlet here into something similar to the Shocker from Fallout 3, with the shock pads. Or, it might be more similar to the Zap Glove from New Vegas, but we will get to that one later. The Gauntlet is acquired from Samuel at Foundation. You do buy it from him with gold bullion. There are no unique gauntlets because it's a gold bullion weapon. Why Bethesda felt the need to have two different Power Fists in the game, I could never tell you. They really like adding in one weapon that's just really similar to an already existing weapon in Fallout 76. The next version we're going to go over is the Displacer Glove. The Displacer Glove first and only appearance is Fallout New Vegas. This Power Fist style weapon is a lot different than the others, as its primary purpose is to push enemies away from you. It's believed that it uses a type of sonic blast to accomplish this. This weapon is powered by fusion cells, as you can clearly see in the forearm portion of the weapon. In New Vegas, like most other weapons, multiple vendors sell the Displacer Glove. Brotherhood Knight Torres, Blake from the Crimson Caravan Company, and the Gunrunners, just to name a few. However, the only NPC that actually wields this weapon is Caesar himself. They were added to the Caesar's Legion safe house later to the game with a patch. Now, why Caesar's Legion uses a weapon like this, I have no idea, but I'm not one to question the great Kaiser. There is one unique Displacer Glove, Pushy. It's found in the Ruby Hall mine on a dead Jackal gang member. There is no lore here, except Josh Sawyer said he believes a former Obsidian developer known as John Fish modeled it. Pushy is basically just a better Displacer Glove. The next variant is the Zap Glove. The Zap Glove is pretty much the Shocker from Fallout 3, but modeled as its own weapon, and not a modified Powerfist. It features extra damage to robots, but also, strangely, extra damage to power armor as well. When you attack with this weapon, a large electrical explosion is seen. This does bring up several questions. Who made this weapon? And was it specifically made to counter power armor troops, or is that just a byproduct of being an anti-robot weapon? And if it was made to counter power armor, was it made by the United States to counter Chinese power armor, or the Chinese to counter US power armor? We will probably never know. Now, the only user of this weapon is the Mojave Brotherhood of Steel. Why they have this weapon, I have no idea. Perhaps they had fear that the NCR was going to start using power armor or robots against them? Which is a possibility, because the NCR did take Brotherhood power armor and turned it into the salvaged power armor. However, the salvaged power armor isn't actually affected by the Zap Glove because of how the salvaged power armor works. There is one unique Zap Glove, and the name of this Zap Glove does bring up a lot of questions. It's called the Paladin Toaster. It's hidden in a cave by Helios 1 and found on a dead prospector, who was killed by Nightkin in this cave. Now, the name Paladin Toaster. It seems his weapon was specifically meant to kill Brotherhood Paladins, so why does a random prospector have it? Did she go out searching for the Brotherhood to kill them with this fist weapon, only to run into Nightkin instead? I mean, who knows? A lot of New Vegas' uniques have no lore at all, and they're just placed in the world. So, speculate away. Now, for the Demolition Powerfist. This one was first seen in Fallout 4 and returned in Fallout 76, as well as Fallout the role-playing game. This Powerfist is the largest variant of the Powerfist. It fully encases the forearm and sticks out in front of the fist by quite a bit. The color of this Powerfist is the same used on construction and demolition equipment. We actually have a fair bit of lore for this weapon, coming from both the Fallout 4 art book and the Fallout role-playing game. Description from the art book reads, "It's not all about the guns, of course. The melee selection was expanded as well, with an eye toward entertaining builds designed to deliver massive and painful physical damage. Some of these weapons were initially intended for purposes other than inflicting harm. The Power Fist and Super Sledge are pre-war hardware originally used by construction crews for demolition, but it certainly didn't take much imagination to find alternative uses for them." The description of the weapon from Fallout the role-playing game. Rulebook, page 119. A Power Fist is a reinforced gauntlet or vambrace which mounts a heavy-duty Fnatic ram over the knuckles. It is designed for use by demolition crews. It also has seen military use for breaching fortifications and clearing enemy barricades and enemies. So, there you go. Used by demolition crews and even adopted by the pre-war military for breaching. Not too often in the Fallout series do we get direct confirmation of a pre-war use of a weapon. Honestly, that's probably the most lore that Bethesda has ever wrote about a weapon, and it's about the Power Fist of all things. In Fallout 4, this Power Fist is sold by Arturo in Diamond City, as well as the traveling crazy merchant, Cricket. Now, the only faction in Fallout 4 to use the Power Fist is the Gunners. But honestly, this is extremely rare, as I can't remember encountering a gunner with the Power Fist. There also might be some Creation Club factions using this weapon. This Power Fist has a couple of upgrades. The Puncturing mod adds armor pen and puts rebar on the front of this weapon, while the heating coils add energy damage. There are no unique Power Fists in Fallout 4. Now we head to Fallout 76, and it's the exact same model as Fallout 4. Because 90% of Fallout 76's vanilla game is just Fallout 4 assets. But it actually makes sense to be in Fallout 76, unlike some other weapons. Looking at you, Cryolator. The military has a heavy presence in West Virginia, as both the Marines and Army Rangers were doing training exercises. There's also several pre-war military bases and federal disposal sites. And the Bog Town was in the process of being demolished. Now, the Powerfist can be found all over the map. From the church in Harper's Ferry to Sunny's Top ski lanes, it's kind of a random spawn. Now, the Appalachian Brotherhood of Steel vendor bot, Phoenix, sells the plans for the Powerfist, so they were using it before they all got wiped out. Which makes sense, as the original Appalachian Brotherhood of Steel was made up of a U.S. Marine detachment and U.S. Army Rangers. And here's some weird, fun fact, that if you have a Powerfist in Fallout 76 equipped, and you encounter a hunter trying to kill a ragstag, he will have special dialogue wanting you to punch a ragstag to death. There is one unique Powerfist in Fallout 76, that is Facebreaker. Added during the Brotherhood of Steel DLC, Steel Dawn and Steel Rain, it is acquired at the end of the quest Knight's Penance, after returning a broken Pip-Boy to Scribe Valdez. This unique features a special skin, as well as several legendary abilities. Facebreaker was seemingly gold-plated, and then someone drew white skulls and the word kill on the front of it. I wonder, did Scribe Valdez gold-plate this weapon and write kill on it with the skulls? Anyway, Facebreaker has 3 legendary effects. Furious, meaning every consecutive hit does a bit more damage, more power attack damage, and it gives +1 to strength. And that will be all for the Demolition Powerfist. The next one's very different, and not in the same vein as the other weapons on this list. It's the Bear Trap Fist. First appeared in Fallout New Vegas' DLC Dead Money, and only in Dead Money. You're probably saying this isn't a Powerfist. I say it is, because it's a punching weapon that is powered. It just uses a spring instead of an electrical system. Plus, there was no way I was going to do an entire episode on a weapon this short, and thought it fit in this one. The Bear Trap Fist is a bear trap jury-rigged into a fist weapon by the ghost people of the Sierra Madre. Where they got the bear traps, I have no idea. How were they able to fasten them into a fist weapon? Also no idea. And that's it for the Bear Trap Fist. Now for the strangest one on this list, the Bear Arm from Fallout 76. The Bear Arm is a mostly forgotten weapon in Fallout 76 due to how it's acquired and the multiple other unarmed weapons in Fallout 76 overshadowing it. But it's a Yaguai or maybe even a pre-war bear skull bracketed to a wrist mounting system. This one is not powered in the same way as the other Powerfist style weapons. It doesn't use microfusion cells or springs. Instead, it's powered by magic. You see, whenever you punch with this weapon, you can hear the sound of the deceased bear roaring. So, it's powered by the souls of the undead. I mean, ghosts do exist in the Fallout universe, so having a haunted weapon kind of makes sense. You acquire the Bear Arm from the Project Paradise event at the Arctos Pharma Lab. It's a pretty rare weapon, and it's pretty much a novelty. While it's perfectly usable, it's really no better than the other endgame level unarmed weapons like the Powerfist or the Deathclaw Gauntlet. Another reason that it's not really used in Fallout 76 is the plans to upgrade it with mods are also a chance reward from Project Paradise, so you have to do the event multiple times just to upgrade the weapon. But if you do this, and you do get the plans, there are 2 different mods, a heavy mod and the puncturing mod. The heavy mod puts a weight in the mouth, while the puncturing has a bunch of rebar sticking out of the mouth. Kind of makes it look like a horror movie monster with all the bent rebar, honestly. And that will be all for this one. If you think I missed anything, please tell me down below. This was a very long episode, probably the longest one I'll ever do. Or maybe not. This took a very long time to write. Anyway, thank you all for watching this far. Goodbye. See you next time.